It is Sunday, December 20th, 2020. This is Erica Lorraine Spencer, and this is my podcast, the P.O.C, real-time documentation of the public entity that is the state of California that is engaged in a ceaseless criminal operation that is federal group stalking and monitoring with communication devices. This is a ceaseless criminal system in operation. I do engage in an ongoing routine of documenting the state. This serves the purposes of prosecuting this or any public entity. I am prosecuting the state of California for engagement in this criminal monitoring system, which is premised upon stalking on a continuous basis, where it is stalking directly via police, ambulance, fire, airplane, and helicopter. Everywhere that the target individual is located, this is how the state remains present. This is what prefaces what is vicarious stalking by the people of the state of California, acting in concert with that public entity to maintain presence in the path. And by presence in the path, that's how you monitor with communication devices while you are constantly surrounded with activity that is audible, visible, or sensational activity, and while you are constantly surrounded with light, that is the state engaging in literally stalking, meaning following or remaining with light of any source. I have documented all forms of stalking with light by the state directly and vicariously, third parties who engage in the creation of light activity for purposes of criminal monitoring with communication devices. And the third element being the stalking itself, that is referred to as relevant positioning. And this is just remaining in the path. And in relevant position, meaning in all directions, at all times the target individual is surrounded. Whether you visibly see it or not. You are talking about being inside and outside. Buildings and walls and brick walls and concrete, those are not structures in any way impeding or hindering the ongoing criminal monitoring with communication devices. And it also is relevant context that this is a satanic targeting system. So you're not also prosecuting a public entity and a criminal system. You are also being made aware of that which is demonic activity, and there are demonic features, and this is that which is occurring. This demonic influence is operating influence over the entire group, meaning the government that is engaging in this monitoring system, and the people of the state simultaneously. So this is ongoing coordinated criminal conduct, whereby they don't have to sit up and have a meeting in the morning about what they're going to do and how they're going to do it or when they're going to do it. Criminal monitoring is that which is occurring based on what the targeted individual is doing at the drop of a dime, and what I am documenting is systematic criminal and demonic coordination of continuous surrounding with activity and presence and light, and it is that which is not only based on the criminal elements, which each of which are satanic, understand, but also they are the criminal elements for how you monitor with communication devices. Okay, and so this is what I'm doing. It is another day, December 20, 2020, and while the POC does not ever stop, there are times where I go to sleep, or I'm not running my cell phones to document 24 hours a day because they have to charge, because I don't have the resources to do that, and so I document as much as I can. So with regard to POC, overnight, the traffic cameras at Euclid and Holt Boulevard at the Ontario Museum of History and Art, where I sleep overnight, where the state, the entity that is monitoring me and stalking is fully aware of, engaging in ongoing POC. And AMR specifically is what is visibly going to be seen at the moment when they audibly ran their sirens. Again, the state is engaged in ongoing stalking. So you're literally talking about not only third parties, right now I'm not talking about third parties that remain. Third parties are one group, by the way. They're not separate individuals. They are one group acting together, walking in the shoes of the government, maintaining presence. They are stalking on behalf of the state, monitoring with the state. I'm speaking specifically about the state directly, and that is fire trucks, ambulance, and police. And the airplanes and helicopters, which remain present above. Visibly on camera is what I'm speaking of right now, and AMR visibly seen and audibly recognized based on their use of sirens while they were driving on Holt Boulevard, and then on the traffic cameras seen turning south onto Euclid Avenue, crossing path with me while lights and sirens are on. Oh, if I recall correctly, actually, if I recollect correctly, I think it may have been they were driving on Euclid Avenue the entire time, not turning off of Holt. regardless, they are driving south on Euclid, and lights and sirens are on the vehicles. On the vehicle, excuse me, and their crossing path that's monitoring while I am at the Ontario Museum of History and Art, and this is the conduct that whereby they are perceivable to me. Like I'm stating, the state engages in, meaning the emergency vehicles engage in patrolling constantly day and night without their use of sirens. They are engaging in the same exact conduct as third parties in their cars who don't have sirens on their cars. They're crossing path while the elements remain present. The AMR engaged in crossing path using its sirens and lights, which I was readily capable of perceiving because of that while I was at the museum. So I just want to note that, and I'm being very specific with what I mean, and not excluding the fact that they continuously are in relevant position, literally stalking, remaining close, prepared to sound sirens at the drop of a dime, at any movement, any new movement, any quote-unquote unrecognized movement, and that is for the provision of audible activity whereby an entire group that is in relevant position is able to monitor in concert with it, okay? And that is also this morning, while I remain at the Ontario Museum, again, arriving at the Ontario Town Square this morning at around 10:40 a.m. And that's on camera as well, and I'm going to get to that in a second. On camera at the moment that I wake up and begin a new movement, the fire truck. And again, the fire truck, they are maintaining, and this is the stalking pattern, they are literally engaged in hovering, stalking conduct, hiding behind corners, ready at the drop of a dime to cross path and sound sirens and use lights. This is the state directly that I'm referring to, because at the moment that I engage in rising up from sleeping and I engage in new movement, after prolonged resting, laying down, I get up and I engage in new movement, taking off my hood, touching my hair and whatnot. At the moment that I engage in this quote-unquote new movement, the fire truck, which is already in close position, not sounding coming from the fire station, okay, the fire truck is right next to where I am, and immediately sounds sirens and immediately comes around the corner. By around the corner, I mean is immediately seen on Holt Boulevard and turns again to cross path onto Euclid Avenue, and with lights and sirens on their vehicle. This is seen on the traffic camera, and I'm providing context. They're monitoring. And I have stressed this already. I am just ongoing with my documentation, and everything that I am consciously aware of, I am just spelling it out for what is occurring. It needs to be clear. All that the state is doing is monitoring. I'm in the city of Ontario. I maintain relative presence in this area in general, and I'm being clear, there are no medical emergencies. This is not the use of the vehicles for purposes of any emergency. They're monitoring. So the traffic cameras in this entire zone, for the purposes of majority of this area over here, when you're looking at the emergency vehicles, they're monitoring. And they are around stalking and lurking, prepared to create any manner of activity. That's all they're doing. And not only that, you're talking about every time you're looking at them, use of their sirens and lights, every time you are seeing them on traffic cameras, crossing paths, driving around, they are engaged in the criminal pattern of conduct. And this is what I'm already establishing. The helicopters are not ever engaged in not being present where I am at, stalking, that is legally stalking, and engaging in the same conduct of creating audible activity, okay? And people, that is the people of the state of California, third-party group stalkers, aka demons, are not ever not present either, okay? So you're talking about an ongoing system, and based on my documentation, I am establishing that pattern. And even if you do not visibly see me, understand that they are in relevant position. They are prepared to immediately be in a position to sound sirens and or light activity for the criminal purpose of ongoing monitoring. And this is what's ongoing while I'm in Ontario. So where you're looking at them driving past, understand that they're engaged in and or are immediately prepared to engage in ongoing criminal activity. It's not an operation that is stopping, and they're not idly around in this area doing nothing. This is all that the state is engaged in, all of it. And I'm speaking to that which is a satanic system. And so if you are not comfortable with or readily capable of accepting this idea, which is legally, it doesn't matter with regard to the prosecution. This is relevant to punishment of a public entity because this is clinically referred to as a group of psychopaths engaging in identical behavioral patterns. But you can replace that demonic with malicious. It is entirely malicious conduct, and the government and the people of the state of California, they drive where they are at, they walk where they're at, they shop where they're at, they sit around and engage in recreational activity wherever they are at for the purpose of monitoring, okay? And that is all that they are consumed with, and that's what I am documenting as well. No presence is idle, no presence is accidental, no activity the same, that is the same. When you're looking at somebody that looks like they dropped something on the ground, for example, I make sure that I am clear to point out there is no accident. It's the creation of activity. It's serving criminal monitoring, and it also occurs with simultaneity to what I am doing. It is not an accident. You are talking about demonic activity. You are talking about malicious activity. And I don't mean that by the term of art. I mean, you're looking at that which is demonic. You're looking at that which is malicious in general, serving a criminal purpose for monitoring with communication devices, and fully aware of the fact that they're being documented, the fact that I am aware of what they are doing, and they are engaging in continuing that conduct while seeking to also maintain the exterior appearance of not engaging in that criminal conduct that I am documenting, okay? So it is entirely malicious, and it is demonic, okay? That is how they are engaging in that behavioral pattern in sync amongst an expansive group of people that are not necessarily all together right here next to me where I am at. You're talking about activity that's occurring from a distance, that's occurring right next to me, that's occurring across the street. That's demonic, all right? They're acting in sync. This demonic influence operating over the same group in sync, following what I am doing, okay? Literally stalking by all manner. Stalking with light, stalking with activity, audible, visible, and or sensational. And typically the state is the one that's creating sensational activity, rumbling and shaking, chiefly through the means of the train. That is a principal means of stalking with audible activity, also sensational activity. This is what occurs largely at the museum. This is what occurs largely at third-party facilitating venues like Mercy House, using the train in order to also shake the building. I've also documented this at third-party facilitating venue, not Economy Inn, but Mayfair Inn, the train, that is literally defined as impossible. This is the state exaggerating the use of the train, shaking the hotel. Okay, and if it's shaking me on the second floor, then it's shaking the building, right? This is the common sense conclusion, but they're engaging in that which defies common sense, that which is unnatural, that which is impossible. But this is all you have to do is document and expound upon the ways in which it is nothing but criminal conduct. It is satanic as well, and it is not even intelligent or sophisticated whatsoever. It is extremely desperate and criminal conduct. And the same with the stalking conduct. As you see third parties sitting on a bench at the Ontario Town Square, they are blatantly engaged in stalking conduct, not just under the legal framework of federal group stalking and monitoring. They are blatantly engaged in stalking conduct out in the open, listening to every word that I am uttering about the criminal system. And no coincidence they're present while the state is flying over by plane, while the state is stalking with the fake sun, while the state is stalking with sirens in their emergency vehicles. This is blatant stalking conduct. This is the psychopath that I am documenting, okay? And they are all aware of the fact that I'm documenting it, and they are all present with the criminal purpose of monitoring with communication devices. This is the psychopath that I'm documenting, and it is group conduct, okay? So you're wrapping your mind around that which is not an individual stalker. It is a public entity that is a stalker, okay? And that public entity is stalking you because it is monitoring, and it is monitoring with communication devices, and it is doing so on a constant, ceaseless basis via the ongoing stalking presence of the people all around that targeted individual, which ordinarily that target individual has no idea it is occurring, not only because you're not ordinarily going to suspect that every single person around you is even aware of your presence or focused on you, let alone stalking you, but also because of that demonic, aka malicious conduct of outwardly conducting themselves as though they are in no way focused on you, when they are entirely focused on you. Okay, monitoring you, listening to your very bodily functions, creating activity at the moment that you engage in any movement as subtle as your baby toe inside of your shoe, which no human ear is capable of hearing. Okay, this is the pattern. All right, that's not just a one thing that I'm just pointing out that happened on one time. This is a pattern. That which is inaudible to the human ear, that which is not capable of being heard, and I do not. They're not walking around with little microphones in their ears. This is demonic activity. All right, and so I am pointing out the demonic amongst the natural. You're looking at human beings. You're also looking at demonic activity, which is an invisible influence operating over them, operating over the government that is operating this criminal system. Okay, this is the significance of it. So, all right, I want to go through also as I arrive at Ontario Town Square. 10:40 a.m. is when I turn on my phone, and as I literally address the cameras, you've got a white male in a wheelchair with a large hat on his head. I immediately point out relevant positioning by the third-party group stalker sitting across the street in a green sweatshirt, tan pants, and a hat, aligned to where I am and anticipated to go at the Ontario Town Square, sitting across the street, a black male sitting on a bench. You've got other third parties that are sitting on the bench. Oh, I'm sorry. Is he a black male? He looks like he's a black male. Anyway, it's a male with a bald head, with a black hoodie on, white interior, right on the cameras in front, in alignment to me, prepared for crossing path, and also being in alignment wherever it is that I sit at the Ontario Town Square. Additional third parties, including the security guard, in relevant position. And AMR, I'm sorry, yes, it is AMR that is engaged in, again, crossing path, driving north on Euclid Avenue, right past with lights and sirens at the moment that I arrive. While the state's fake sun object is hovering over, these are the ongoing, constant, demonic, and criminal features of the system, okay? So I'm pointing out this conduct by the state. This is the creation of activity. This is the stalking by the state. While these established elements, again, the state does not stop stalking with light, whether it's through a fake sun during the day or whether it's through impossible light activity at night. Impossible light activity occurs during the day as well, but impossible light activity at night, the direction of light in all direction, in all manner, and on the surfaces all around me, on the ground all around me, this is what is constant, okay? And so as I am documenting ongoing, what I am establishing is how the state is engaging in a ceaseless, systematic criminal system of monitoring, and as AMR is crossing path, creating lights and amplifying the sound of sirens at the moment of my arrival at Ontario Town Square, while I am addressing the security cameras, is not a coincidence. It's ongoing monitoring. It is pursuant to ongoing stalking, siren sound immediately close to my location, and continue crossing path like AMR did last night, the fire truck did this morning at the moment that I move, and all the times that they're engaged in documented stalking on any camera in relevant position, including their own cameras if they have any, on the vehicles, which, by the way, are also moving communication devices. Their vehicles have communication devices, and I just want to be clear. So this is at 10:40 a.m. They're monitoring. So I do point that out. Yeah, it is a black male with a bald head, sitting directly across from the male on the opposite, sitting in the median, in the grassy area on the bench. This is all relevant positioning of third-party group stalkers that are sitting at the Ontario Town Square, ready for my arrival, okay? This is how the system works. The state is not doing anything else but monitoring, and the state is engaged in obsessive monitoring that's not taking a pause. I am the sole focus. This is why it is expending all resources using planes and helicopters and fake light objects that's supposed to be a sun, which all you have to do is document and pay attention to, and it is not the sun. That's a scientific fact. And where the sun is not a mystery either, and it's not over this town square, it's not over the museum, it's not over Hope Boulevard, and it's certainly not all day long, and it's certainly not marginally, moving, migrating, and that's not it moving, that's the state moving it, by the way. Let me be specific with my terminology. Engaging in negligible migration within less than a mile throughout the entirety of a day. Okay, this is P.O.C. This is the pattern of conduct of federal group stalking and monitoring, and it is a group system, meaning the state is present at Ontario Town Square through these group stalkers that are in relevant position. And this is just the immediate environment. And the stores across the door, the storefronts, all of them in relevant position, traffic, Wells Fargo, parking lot, this entire zone behind the residential areas, yes, they are engaged in monitoring. This is an entire zone. This is why the state uses planes and helicopters, creating an expansive amount of audible activity, flying over a vast amount of space at one time, where they are in relevant position acting with that entity. Understand that clock is audible activity, serves monitoring. This is why the state is engaged in placing a fake sun object remaining over the area, light central to monitoring, okay? And this is how you provide that central element of light over an expansive group, while also impossible light activity bouncing off. That's in quotes because light is not bouncing off. That's the state directing light and all the services, while third-party group stalkers are just systematically crossing paths all day long. This is how you know they're third parties, by the way. It's not a coincidence of abnormal conduct. It's demonic, and it is criminal monitoring. That's how federal group stalking and monitoring works. It's just an ongoing systematic group system of monitoring, and it is entirely malicious. And the more I documented it, it is entirely pathetic. I have literally stripped down all the elements bare bones so you can look at anything that they're engaged in on the exterior and see the elements as they remain present. That's the point. The elements are what prevail in federal legislation, federal prosecution, and you have the ongoing presence of the elements of criminal monitoring remaining at all times. And not only do you have that legal argument with regard to prosecuting the public entity, you have your common sense. The state engaging in unheard of manner of stalking. The explanation for a fake sun object, the explanation for stalking by, and that's what it is legally defined as, by stalking with all manner of airplanes in every location for over 2 years, stalking with helicopters, stalking by police, because that's legally what it is, regardless of what they try to demonstrate their presence as being some sort of explanation for something else. It is stalking, all right? And those explanations, those are something that a public entity cannot explain. All right, while the criminal elements of monitoring remain present at all time. All right, that's the pattern of conduct. It is currently 11:03 a.m. and that's the state amplifying plane activity, and that is the audible activity created while third-party group stalkers surround. That is the state and vicarious state actors. The public entity together, third parties represent the entity that is stalking and monitoring with it, engaging in monitoring. Okay, fake sun present, amplified audible activity, ongoing relevant position. That is stalking. That is presence in the path. That's P.O.C. And that is another plane flying directly behind me at 11:04 a.m. as the psychopath listens to me document its criminal conduct. So I just want to provide context. That was a little over 20 minutes ago, 24 minutes ago to be precise, at my arrival at Ontario Town Square, where I'm pointing out on the cameras group stalking, relevant positioning by third parties, both here on the grounds at the Ontario Town Square and across the street sitting on the bench. And those are just the bodies that were sitting out at the, I'm not addressing traffic, which is ongoing relevant position. Like I've stated, this entire zone is a relevant position. I pointed that out to the cameras, and with simultaneity to that conduct, AMR already close to me, sirens immediately sounding next to me, immediately visibly present, crossing path with those sirens. Okay, that's stalking, and that is monitoring conduct, creating light and audible activity with simultaneity to what I am doing. This is the ongoing pattern. Okay, that is also the demonic feature that individual third-party group stalkers engage in. All right, at the drop of a dime, while they're engaging in presence, and well, actually, whether I see them or not, you're talking about hearing a car horn from what sounds like a quarter of a mile away. It's at a distance away, but it's occurring at the same time that I make a sudden movement. It's the same thing right next to me. It's a group that is engaging in sharing this criminal activity and engaging in the elements together. They're not all engaging in activity right here next to me. It's group conduct. And so you have a constant, and this is what my audio documentation shows, it's just a constant stream of audible activity, even in times of what seems like pregnant silence, which is very rare. But times of pregnant silence, understand monitoring is ongoing. That doesn't mean because you don't have ongoing noise at a particular moment that monitoring isn't ongoing. Activity is prepared to be created at the moment of any movement on my behalf. Okay, so ongoing listening to me, ongoing stalking with activity. Okay, that is P.O.C. as well. It is 11:06 a.m. right now, Sunday, December 2020, and the pattern of conduct of federal group stalking and monitoring is constant. I did take images of my immediate surrounding at Ontario Town Square after the white male on the wheelchair which is what I'm speaking to. It doesn't matter what you look like, what age you are, meaning under the age of majority or well over the age of majority. Federal group stalking and monitoring is based on presence where the state is monitoring with communication devices, period. And understand the state is engaging criminal facilitation, seeking to capitalize off of the appearance of a minor, or seeking to capitalize off of the appearance of a senior citizen who is going to be, quote unquote, presumably uninterested in stalking, as they are aware that I'm documenting. No. Doesn't work that way. Presence is universal, and this is how the state is engaging in ongoing group stalking and monitoring. And what I was speaking to, the images that I captured include all of those who are around my immediate environment as AMR is engaged in ongoing stalking directly. They represent the state. That's the state creating activity and crossing path visibly and on camera. And at the moment, again, with simultaneity to my documentation on the cameras at this venue at Ontario Town Square, a third-party facilitating venue where the state parks its fake sun and the state amplifies audible activity. And it is ongoing stalking by the state by plane, helicopter, and sirens and lights by the state directly. This is what I captured in images, including everything but that old male with the large hat on the wheelchair engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. Okay, he proceeded to go south on his wheelchair after engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring, representing the government as a third-party vicarious actor, monitoring an American citizen. And that's P.O.C. at 10:40 a.m. It's 11:08 a.m. and the P.O.C. is continuous. And Erica Lorraine Spencer. I wanted to get this license plate before this third party leaves. In relevant position under the state's light source, crossing path, and also loitering at the park. I'm sorry, at the town square. 8 Mary Xavier Edwards 639. Again, that's 8 Mary Xavier Edwards 639. Monitoring with all the rest of them. P.O.C. a female with a long burgundy ponytail, blue jeans, gray shirt, blue sweat jacket in her hand, and also the male driving this black Honda parked on the sidewalk. Okay, doing the same thing that all third parties do. This is relevant positioning. I'm also addressing the security cameras at Ontario Town Square, and that's why they do the same thing at Wells Fargo. They'll park here instead of going to Ontario Town Square. They'll go to Wells Fargo. It is the same conduct. Or acting in concert with traffic, acting in concert with third-party group stalkers who are planted on foot in relevant position, okay, and also on the opposite side that you can't see. Again, this entire zone is relevant positioning. I'm only pointing out the immediate surroundings where I am, and you've got a third-party group stalker parked where the bus stop is, headlights facing this direction, and this is why you document, because they act as a group. And so when you document one, you're documenting one that's acting with an entirety of group. And it is too laborious for any target individual to have to, and they do not have to legally. You're talking about the entity that's stalking and monitoring. You can document third parties that engage in specific conduct, but I am documenting as many as possible because I am going to drag them in federal court. 8 Mary Xavier Edwards 639. Again, that's that license plate of that third party. That's P.O.C. And what you want to pay attention to is the fact that they stay for the entirety of my stay there. P.O.C. P.O.C. Stayed there for the entirety of my little speech. I'm talking about that which is not, they are not ignorant. They are listening to every word that I say. Okay, this is the psychopath. That's the psychopath aspect, all right? Yeah, so anyway, it is 11:11 a.m. That is the P.O.C. It is 11:38 a.m. I have been inside of Stater Brothers for about less than 5 minutes, and I just want to document while I'm in here because this is good documentation. I'm on the surveillance cameras, which I do reference as I'm in this third-party facilitating venue. I want to point out, first of all, walking up to the venue, meaning walking on the under the walkway on the covered walkway. Southwest Airlines plane, that's the state using third-party instruments for federal group stalking and monitoring. Southwest hovers over the parking lot, flying west over me, directly next to me, like where the cars drive. The plane flew right over that crossing path with the third parties. That's what that is. Southwest upon my entering into the venue. P.O.C. is you'll see the presence of customers. They're group stalkers. Employees are group stalkers present in the locations where it's anticipated that I'll go. Crossing path at the moment that I engage in moving, like ducking down to pick up an item. So this I also pointed out on camera. And as I'm passing, this is aisle 7. Impossible light activity appearing on the shelf items. This is a manifestation of a glaring of moving light that appears on the sodas that they have stocked in the front. And this is what motivated me to go on ahead and just go ahead and document continuously while I'm inside of this third-party facilitating venue. Stater Brothers at 646 West Holt Boulevard. They are group stalkers. They are demon-possessed stalkers, okay? Wearing Stater Brothers uniforms. The same exact P.O.C. You are looking at it under the factual circumstances of a grocery store, the identical behavioral pattern underway, okay? They are literally stalking with grocery carts, literally stalking in uniforms, managers and employees. It is one system that is ceaselessly underway. It's a state system. And so you're wrapping your mind around that, detaching yourself from this notion of separating people based on their individuality. You're talking about a group system premised on group conduct. And it is underway at every single venue. And so you are literally looking at a template, as I have provided it, which are the 3 criminal elements, and you are providing that template to each and every place where I go, and everywhere I go, including just walking down the street. That template that template applies. And in addition to that, I'm referencing all the security cameras as I go. Understand, using the PA system is a means of audible activity, okay? And it occurred with simultaneity to my stopping to reference the camera. That's the same behavioral pattern. It is 11:41 a.m. Third-party group stalkers just surround with their grocery carts, and based on the ongoing stalking conduct and the absolute focus on me, present where they anticipate I'm going to stop. That's what? Yogurt, the fruit, going to get some hard-boiled eggs, going to get a Lunchable, going to get perhaps some cheesecake, just to give you an overview. This is what they do on camera, and what you see on camera is what is expected to be seen. You're going to see them appearing to be unloading inventory, okay? That's adapting the P.O.C. to the factual circumstances of the venue. Understand that. It is presence. It is the provision of stalking presence. It is the provision of audible activity and visible activity, all right? And this is a pattern with regard to specifically this venue, but this is the pattern, period, underway. Audible activity, using a wheelchair. This is P.O.C. The same thing they do with vehicles, understand that. It's P.O.C. as I'm walking down the path. It's called stalking with activity inside of the venue. As I walk past the registers, this is systematic crossing a path. This is P.O.C. You remain surrounded inside of the venue. The state's fake sun object hovering over the venue. The state hovering over me as I'm walking to the venue. This is P.O.C. Excuse me. She's engaging in P.O.C. Oh, she as in an employee. She's just standing there turning around in circles and no name tag on. That's relevant positioning. And this is the same psychopath that is listening to me document its conduct inside of the store. Stater Brothers is already heavily documented. I just engage in more documentation because of the impossible light activity that they meaning the state is the one that engages in the light voodoo trickery nonsense, which is impossible light activity. The sun is not shooting out beams of light. In the same way, light does not bounce off vehicles and onto the heights of tall buildings. That is not what light does. That's what the state does to monitor you with communication devices. Okay, so I'm approaching a customer and I'm approaching an employee, one with the employee having inventory and in relevant position as I exit the aisle. Understand, it is not idle presence. It's intentional conduct. It's called surrounding. Relevant positioning inside of the store. It's P.O.C. It is currently 11:44 a.m. that is the P.O.C. That is the amplification of the hand dryer from the men's restroom. They're monitoring. Restroom aisle is right in alignment to me. This is creation of audible activity, and the state is amplifying the sound of that hand dryer. This is P.O.C, and I did reference the security cameras as I stand here at aisle 3. That's called amplification. At this time, a Latino male with all white pants and a white jacket, black face mask, red stripes on the side of his pants, exits the aisle. They're all monitoring together. It's 11:47 a.m.
How you doing? Should I get a bag?
I will take a bag for you. Yeah.
511. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks so much. Hi, how are you?
Is it? Or maybe they just aren't like 7-Up.
That's right, I think they were.
All right, that is the application of a microphone, literally for the hand dryer, carrying it into the depths of the store. That's P.O.C. Thank you. Where's my? Did you give it to me? Sorry. Same thing with the impossible light activity documented inside of the store. All right, they're monitoring. That's another means. That's state action. Impossible light activity inside of the store. Amplification of P.O.C. Hi, how's it going? It is 11:49 a.m. That's P.O.C. And so as I go to use the restroom, they are monitoring inside of the restroom. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and capture an image of the state's fixed on object right here over the parking lot. Remember this, the time of day right now is 11:49 a.m. All right, with simultaneity to my stopping recording, again, beginning that hand dryer. This is audible activity they're creating to monitor. 11:53 a.m. Alrighty. They're just monitoring away, creating all manner of activity in the hallway. This is also demonic activity. These are demons that are engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring. Okay, and keep in mind all the facts, all right? This is not the sun hovering over the parking lot. This is the state engaging in the same stalking conduct, literally flying over my head, and I have a wealth of documentation of helicopter and plane activity over this venue, state stalking by police, aiming impossible light activity, and also impossible light activity inside of the venue. This is P.O.C. This is them continuously beating on the door. Now, let me be clear. If I did this, this would be a means for them to threaten to call the police, which is audible activity, and harassment while they're monitoring me. They are engaging in this because they are monitoring. This is beating on the door is creating audible activity, and they are engaging in withholding the code. And so this is a means for them to continue to beat on the door when all they have to do is go get an employee to open the door. All right? So you want to understand that. There is no form. It's P.O.C. It's 11:54 a.m. And again, that's criminal facilitation by the employees and the group stalker patrons. It's 11:55 a.m. P.O.C. All right, the presence of a third-party group stalker inside of the bathroom, engaging in any activity, including actual use of the toilet, is still engagement in the criminal elements of monitoring. They're coming in for that purpose as well. It is the same exact criminal elements underway, and this is in concert with all other universal facts that remain present. It is P.O.C. It is 11:56 a.m., and as you see, ongoing activity inside of the bathroom while they do so. So it's serving that purpose. 11:56 a.m. All right, ongoing amplification of sound through the wall. Again, that's the state turning up the volume of what is activity and or artificially creating activity. It literally sounds like through the wall that is on the opposite of the parking lot, like you're hearing piping and water coming through that wall as well. This is just surrounding with, it's noise. This is the point of it. It's the creation of noise. This is how you monitor with communication devices. But with regard to the legal significance, the ongoing sexual violation while indisposed using the restroom, the ongoing use of amplification of activity was simultaneous to my movements as I am in use of the toilet, while I am physically indisposed, while the state's universal facts, the fake sun, stalking by plane and helicopter by the state occurring while I am at this venue. This is the exact same P.O.C., and this is a sexually motivated aspect of P.O.C. Third-party group stalkers loitering in the hallway, yelling, beating on the doors, amplification of the hand dryer, amplification of what's supposed to be the sound of some sort of water pipe, toilet flushing conduct. This is that which is the same conduct the state uses at every other venue, including West Valley Jail, where I remained kidnapped. All right, amplification through solid brick wall, like they're standing right next to you. It's P.O.C. Okay, and it is sexually violent P.O.C. It's 12:02, and I'm at the same venue that wants to be documented as a sex offender, and so that is what I am going to expose because that's what they're doing. It is 646 West Holt Boulevard. It is 12:02 p.m. All right, 12:27 p.m. I am in Walmart, and airplanes en route over the plaza. No, I don't. I'm good. Over the parking lot and also en route the entire time while I'm with a third party transporting me from Stater Brothers, plane flying over us the entire time, driving the entire route, sounding over the car where we are parked at Walmart on Mountain, third party facilitating venue where the same stalking conduct occurred, helicopters circling above me at the garden area. This is that same venue. This is P.O.C. State's fake sun over the parking lot. It is currently 12:28 p.m.
Hey,
Yeah.
you don't need this on.
You gonna let me sit at your house and braid my hair?
Oh, I can't.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. What am I gonna do with that? I just referenced the security cameras inside of this venue. It's 12:43 p.m. and while I'm standing in aisle 15, you can hear the amplified sound of the helicopter flying over the venue. They are all engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. This is P.O.C. And you have the conduct of the state amplifying the sound of helicopters. They're patrolling around with their phones. P.O.C. It is 12. Where are you going? It's 12:43 p.m. Okay, I am referencing the security cameras as I'm walking through, because all they're doing is monitoring. P.O.C. It's 1:58 p.m. Just capturing how the state's fake sun object. Again, we've documented where it's going everywhere that I'm at Mercy House, directly over that venue. And it is 1:58 p.m. State's fake sun object directly over this parking lot in front of me at Dick's, now directly in front of me at Target. This is 1931 inside of the Colonies Plaza, where the state was just flying over this parking lot in a small white plane, right, in relevant position. This is P.O.C. They are monitoring. Okay, just is showing how P.O.C. for federal group stalking and monitoring is occurring everywhere you go. I am referencing the cameras at this Target at 1931. P.O.C. Alright, it's 2:33 p.m. P.O.C. while inside of third-party facilitating venue Target. I did take an image of that. This is just another venue engaging in the same behavioral pattern. This is relative to understanding how federal group stalking and monitoring is a ceaseless system and the ways they're all engaging in what is basically remaining surrounding while the state is engaging in stalking with the sun, literally directly over me, while planes continue following, flying directly, hovering, and while impossible light activity. That's what's occurring inside. You hear the beeping in the background. They've got light activity going on, third parties engaging in light activity, and also the state directing light through the entrance doors into the depths of the store. This is P.O.C. That is that which is not occurring from any sun or movement of vehicles. That's P.O.C. They are monitoring in this store, and they are using all manner of ongoing activity and presence. They are also using the buildup of lines in the store. Every store I'm going into, long lines. This is relevant positioning, causing for constant crossing of path. It's the same thing you see with traffic, okay? As I walk on the sidewalk, the buildup of traffic is a means of relevant positioning, a means of remaining present and keeping surrounding. This is P.O.C. inside of Target. This is the same Target, the parking lot that I took a picture of, that I took footage of earlier, the state flying over in a plane, the state's fake sun object over this parking lot directly. Dickies is right next. This is the same venue. This is the same plaza. And this is all that which is to be compared. It's cumulative documentation with regard to the state's ongoing stalking with light. You stalk with light by a fake sun, which is not going to be hovering over you every place that you go. This is clearly evidence of what I'm as I move around to different locations, and you're seeing the state's presence in that form. And this is also how you know it is conclusive evidence of federal group stalking and monitoring, by the way. And it is also demonic activity. Employees and patrons inside of every venue engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring. That's P.O.C. It's 2:35 p.m. Exiting the venue now at Target, and I have been referencing the cameras everywhere that I go. This entire venue engaging in monitoring. It's P.O.C. at 2:35 p.m. All right, monitoring inside of Big Five. Obviously, this is suite number 80. This is Big Five Sporting Goods. That's where I'm at. And this is inside of the same plaza. There's a Marshalls, a CVS, the Citibank, UPS store. I was just inside of Big Five, monitoring with the state. All the elements are present. Third-party group stalkers patrolling in traffic. You're talking about relevant positioning. So this is P.O.C. in the same way that you can document third parties in their vehicles to identify license plates. Where I am in relevant positioning with regard to ongoing federal group stalking and monitoring, it is the same, and they are all monitoring, including Big Five, where I'm inside, employees and patrons alike. It is 2:58 p.m. Let's see. 7 George Thomas Henry 130, 6 Robert Paul 259, 6 Laura Nancy David 798. Coco's is right next door, stalking with activity. This is the same demonic engagement in the criminal elements in the state, stalking with all manner of activity. P.O.C. It is 2:58 p.m. 97761 Daniel 1. 6 Wendy 00662 8 Nancy Edward Frank 036. The amplified sound of planes, and this is how you know. I'll go ahead and get a picture of that. This is how you know what they're doing. The state responds to my document. It is 3:10 p.m. I'm at a different Walmart at the intersection of Foothill and let me get 7BNT 143. There's a plane flying directly aligned to me from the Walmart. This is P.O.C. 6YTV 947. Yeah, I'm coming. That is a plane flying, and now it's making a turn and flying directly over. Oh, let's get it. Just want to document how there is ongoing amplified plane activity in the parking lot as all these group stalkers surround. Okay, I'm going to get another video of it because all they're doing is patrolling and in their cars creating ongoing light activity, and the state is patrolling via aircraft. It is 3:32 p.m. I'm at the same third-party facilitating venue, Walmart. And just to be clear, the state is present, as I've already pointed out. Those hallmarks and all elements, they remain present while inside of the store. You're talking about relevant positioning. And they are engaged in literal stalking inside of the store. And just want to be clear, Teresa, long blonde hair, engaging in monitoring. She works for Walmart, engaging in monitoring while I am using the bathroom, with every other third-party group stalker inside of the bathroom where I'm subject to monitoring at this venue. It is security cameras in front of the bathroom, but also that I reference is 3:33 p.m. Yep. All right, it is 4:04 p.m. Ending my ongoing tour of federal group stalking and monitoring with insider third-party group stalker and Tracy Banks, license plate 41432. That's 4 Wendy Open Nancy 432. Engaging in ongoing group stalking with the state that was continuously engaging and literally stalking with its light object remaining directly over every single venue that I was at. This is called impossible light activity, stalking with light. And this is cumulative documentation with regard to the state's pattern of stalking with light, specifically with the fake sun object hovering at low elevation directly over me at every single location that I go to during the daytime hours, and also impossible light activity inside of those venues. So impossible light activity inside of Dick's Sporting Goods, inside of the Colonies Crossroads Plaza, the impossible light activity inside of Target, and this is also impossible light activity inside of the venue that we, every venue that we were inside of today, the state's light object outside. This is including inside of Walmart, which I also actually took an image of inside of the third-party facilitating venue, Walmart. The state patrolling over my head in the parking lot, repeatedly flying back and forth over the Walmart, and flying directly over my head again in the parking lot of that Walmart. This is the Walmart that is on Foothill Boulevard. This is P.O.C. As I documented, and federal group stalking and monitoring is that which is a state system. And like I said, the ongoing criminal elements remain present. The state engages in ongoing, literally stalking in all matters, stalking by entity, which are the people of the state that are acting in concert with it, as it is stalking by plane and helicopter and stalking with its light. All right, let me get these group stalkers in this B&G Plaza. Starting is ignition. At the same time, I press a button on my phone, 7 Mary Nancy Robert 656. That is that demonic behavioral pattern of stalking with activity while even engaged in that which is not audible to the human ear. This is an ongoing pattern everywhere I go. Loitering in relevant position, 8 Xavier 22326, 7 RG Xavier 723, 4 Victor George Nancy 979. Here, driving in and out, patrolling through the driveway. That is too dark for me to see. Here's another third-party group stalker crossing path in a white truck, 85143 George 2. And 7 Mary Nancy Robert, 656. And they are in relevant position, present through the drive-thru. Understand this is a means of loitering. This is a means of creating ongoing activity and light activity, just sitting in relevant position. And you do that under the appearance of sitting in a drive-thru directly around the location of the target individual. This is license plate 7 Frank Charlie Sam 133, license 8 Frank 0 Frank 312. Go ahead. 7 Frank Zebra Charlie 296. 8 Jack Frank Thomas 672. 7 Henry Uncle Karen 846. 7 Mary Open Daniel 223. 7 Xavier Frank Paul 416. We've got some third parties covering up the license plate. I'm going to get it anyway. 6 Wendy Zebra Larry 915. All right, that's just a sample of the third parties that are in relevant position acting with the state. This is B&G Plaza. They are on the cameras. This is giving context as to what you're looking at. They are monitoring with the state that is stalking with light the fake sun object right here over the B&G Plaza, right? It was right over every other venue where I was located today. Impulsible light activity, meaning shooting light inside of the venue, which is never occurring naturally. That is the state engaged in that same ongoing pattern because they are all monitoring everywhere that I go. And that is what was occurring everywhere, every documented place where I went today, where again, a third-party group stalker engaging in actually conducting themselves as though they are seeking to help, and they are posing the most credible threat by monitoring me and exposing me to that monitoring conduct in traffic everywhere that I'm going, the government flying over, the government directing with light. This is the most threatening criminal conduct that a government can wage against an American citizen, and the fact that it is that which is engaged in by every single person that the target individual quote unquote knows and does not know. Okay, it is a state system. And there are no exclusions to that. This is why the state is stalking with light, because their communication devices are what they are using to monitor, and their persons, their presence, are what they are means by stalking being in the path, okay? And so this is that which is posing a threat to the very life, the physical safety and overall well-being of a third party who, while on the outside, is presenting and conducting themselves as though they are looking out for the best interest of the targeted individual. And this could not be more of a paradox, okay? Buying something for the targeted individual, conducting yourself as though you are a friend or a loved one. Again, this is what the exterior, that federal group stalking is the appearance, the outward presentation that this system relies upon. The police engage in the same conduct, conducting themselves as though they are legitimate for some reason, while they are fully engaged in POC, and have every intention of your ongoing demise, okay, and to silence you. And this is what is occurring today as Tracy Banks, an insider, a third-party insider, engaging in driving me all around while I am subject to ongoing federal group stalking and monitoring, okay? Literally presenting a threat to me and intentionally engaging in it with the state, okay? And aware that I'm documenting it as well. And while also at the same time simultaneously buying a backpack, buying a sleeping bag. All right, we want to be clear. The criminal elements are what prevail, and the outward conduct, or that which you engage in addition to federal group stalking and monitoring, is that which is relevant to punishment. Okay, you're talking about a psychopath. That which is conducting themselves on the outside is one way when you have every intention and fully engaged in for years in this very conduct that is now being documented. This is a third party who was engaged in criminal defamation, engaged in kidnapping, engaged in, and by kidnapping what I mean is engaging and monitoring me while I remain kidnapped in the facility at GLEN HELEN Rehabilitation Center at West Valley Jail, and at while subject to ongoing kidnapping continued by Arrowhead Regional Medical Center on December 6th, calling up and engaging in seeking to, in any way that she can, engage in criminal defamation, inquiring about quote-unquote refusal of services, or that I am not in need of. That you have West Valley that's engaging in criminal activity and then engages in getting rid of me after I have published on their cameras on the facility that Kara Hudson and Misha Moss, bar number 297372, engaged in kidnapping and criminal defamation and keeping me in jail while entertaining a fictitious prosecution. They get rid of me out of the jail, but by falsely classifying upon kidnapping in a mental ward, okay, 5150, and then hand me off to Arrowhead Regional Medical Center. Again, this is a continuation of a kidnapping because none of them have any legal jurisdiction over my person whatsoever. And so while doing this, I am with Arrowhead Regional Medical Center. This is documented conduct, while the West Valley removes me from their facility upon my publishing via a humongous sign on the facility after documenting for over 2 months while they were engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring inside of that facility the ongoing P.O.C. And as I hold up a large sign speaking to the truth of what was occurring, the fact that I was kidnapped by the police on September 25th, that it is a fictitious case. There is no warrant because there's actually no real case. MWV 200000640 is that which was initiated by a DA that is not a real person. F, as in Frank, Ramos, is not a real person. Okay, this is also that which was brought and quote unquote prosecuted by persons in the court, the officers of the court, who were fully engaged in creating information, literally artificially engineering information and hearings that did not occur whatsoever, and also manufacturing information on minute orders and putting me on probation in what was a fake case. You literally have criminal activity in the court. This is what is criminal obstruction of justice. This is how the court system is engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring. That is the pattern of conduct. And so the court system is the way in which the state engages in seeking to conceal and insulate itself from prosecution. And so this is why you have malicious prosecutions, which is that which exceeds an ordinary civil suit for a malicious prosecution brought by Leonard Chang, who had no probable cause in the first place ever to bring a false case for the same charge, PC 148. Okay, this is the police engaging in false charges while they are engaged in federal group stalking and monitoring and engaged in kidnapping. Okay, so a malicious prosecution, a fictitious prosecution, these are acts of criminal obstruction engaged in by the officers of the court. Okay, so every detail of this fake case that I'm speaking on initiated by F. Ramos, a fake person, not on the California bar site, not a real employee working with the San Bernardino County District Attorney's Office or the West Valley Division. This person does not exist. This was a means of having me involved in the court system, showing up to court, expecting a trial that never occurred. And this is why Lisa Rogan, on the date of trial that was scheduled, engaged in immediately taking me into custody, which is a kidnapping. Not only is she monitoring me, she is engaging in kidnapping. That's criminal obstruction. This is the state that is engaged in seeking to conceal this, which I continue to document. And so I bring up that because this is the same third party that is buying a sleeping bag and buying a backpack, and understand that this is legally irrelevant. It is relevant with regard to the malice. That's what it's relevant to. You're speaking to malice while holding your hand out and bearing gifts, engaging in the most threatening and criminal conduct with the government against your own flesh and blood. Okay, so this is the psychopath, right? You are seeing the manifestation of what a psychopath is in each actor. You've got strangers acting against one that they do not know personally. I don't know them personally, but they're engaging in POC with the government, entirely focused on an American citizen for a criminal purpose, and it is an obsessive, hovering, paranoid type of monitoring conduct and stalking conduct that they are engaged in. That's a psychopath that is also listening and aware of the fact that you're documenting them. This is a psychopath that I'm documenting. All right, this is just collateral on top of the ongoing POC that I continue to document. And so anyway, with regard to POC, everywhere that I went today, this is informative with regard to the state system that I am speaking to, that I am exposing, that I am documenting, that the state of California is going to answer for it. It is already prosecuted. This is merely a means of exposing the state of California engaging in that criminal conduct. On the traffic cameras, Plum and Holt Boulevard, you'll see the state engaging in direct stalking, crossing path under the fake sun, that is Ontario Police 1006, heavily documented, the most documented on police department, engaging in the same pattern of conduct that every other county is engaged in. But Ontario Police Department, the most egregiously acting criminals and psychopaths wearing badges, posing a very danger to the public and to American society, engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring. It is currently 4:18 p.m. And this is the POC ongoing documentation. I have a substantial amount of images and video to publish that accompany this podcast, and I am not done with regard to documentation today, but keep in mind that I always combine it with as much as possible images that you can look at so you can see in real time. This is real-time documentation of what is criminal and demonic activity in the state of California, and it is called federal group stalking and monitoring, a new legal concept that is operated by a government, and this government is, the public entity is here, the state of California. And this is a full day of being in the presence of a group stalker driving me around and exposing me to more and more harm while doing so, and doing so maliciously, while at the one hand buying me, bearing gifts, if you will, and at the same time engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring. This is the malice, okay? This is how it is engaged in. And this is P.O.C. 4:19 p.m. Okay, this is an example of a third-party group stalker, and the easy way they engage, the easy manner with which they engage in monitoring you, just being present and creating any activity including talking, activity including something as simple as playing music. Meanwhile, the state is continuously flying over, patrolling in the sky space, and ongoing activity as third parties patrol in traffic and patrol in the plaza. They're on camera engaging in what is light activity, stalking, sitting in their cars. All right, license plate 6 Sam Daniel 314. All of them in Andy's Burgers parking lot in relevant position, loitering while this group stalker sits by me playing loud music. This is monitoring. Okay, this is another example of the same conduct. All right, and this is the ways in which you engage in monitoring an American citizen. Traffic on Holt Boulevard is just patrolling back and forth. This is the same P.O.C. This is third parties acting to monitor. And its coexistence with the state stalking conduct is that which is federal group stalking and monitoring. All three elements: light activity, audible activity, visible activity, and relevant positioning. All manner of relevant positioning: patrolling in traffic, loitering in a nearby adjacent drive-through. This is a means for the same conduct. Loitering on both sides of traffic, on transit as well, and loitering in the parking lot, driving in and out. This is all manner of monitoring. All right, and this is how you are systematically monitored: in motion or stationary. That's P.O.C. I'm just going to read some license plates. They're all monitoring to this music as he's playing while the state's flying over. 8 Paul Sam Zebra 592. 8 Wendy 16613. 7 Daniel Charlie 460. Frank 528 Benjamin 0. I'm also referencing the cameras in B&G Plaza. 7 Thomas Benjamin Jack 094. 8 Charlie Thomas Frank 069. 8 Paul 0 Zebra 830. Paper plate Bob Charlie 89 Frank 68 coming from behind me with light activity. This is 7 Victor Igloo Jack 381. Charlie Daniel 393. That's a handicap plate. 8 Samuel Queen Charlie 222. 5 Yogurt Queen King 751. Right, they just surround in the parking lot, and this is aiming light using their cars. This is P.O.C. Ongoing activity. This is federal group stalking and monitoring. This is 7 Xavier Igloo Edward 163. I got that one already. Let's see. 8 Frank Nancy Bob 983. These are license plates of third parties who are in relevant position in this plaza. And 5 Sam Jack Edward 010, and it is armed with security cameras as well. So understand, I'm giving you context of what you're looking at. This is called presence. This is the element of relevant positioning, which is the stalking. They are in the path. They are facilitating the state's monitoring system. 6 Mary Charlie Sam 178. 8 Edward Robert Sarah 053. 8 Robert Victor Charlie 308. Leaving Andy's Burgers in relevant position. 8 Apple King Jack 012. 8 Nancy Queen Wendy 223. These are the same ones sitting in the drive-thru that were patrolling past as this plane was flying over me. 8 Edward Queen Victor 254. 7 Paul King Zebra 803. 6 George Xavier Mary 741. 5 Yogurt Tom Wendy 200. All right. Point, 5 Larry Victor Wendy 970. These are license plates all around this venue. 7 Paul Wendy Sam 505, 8 Edward Bob Karen 837, 8 Larry Thomas Nancy 665, 8 Apple Karen Jack 012. I believe I might have read that license plate already. They drove around sitting at the red light right now. I am at Holt and Plum, and all of traffic patrolling back and forth while this third party is sitting next to me playing ongoing music, which is audible activity, facilitating the state's monitoring system. Headlights aiming in this direction with emergency lights on. This is P.O.C. as I start crossing the street. This is the same thing you saw at Dick's Sporting Goods. This is an ongoing pattern. That's light activity, and it is also demonic. You're just looking at demonic activity in a form that is digestible, which you're looking at every day. It is serving a criminal purpose. It is a means of surrounding with activity, occurring with simultaneity to my movement, my location. It's 4:49 p.m. I'm at Plum and Holt. This is license plate 3 Thomas Karen Victor 961, 6 Xavier Bob Jack 238, 5 T1732, I believe. P.O.C. So I'm going to get this license plate of this third party. They are creating light activity. Again, the exterior, meaning having whatever reason is supposed to be the outside, the external appearance of why they have their emergency lights on is legally irrelevant. This is how a state is able to monitor you. And in addition to that, what I'm speaking to is that which is malicious engagement in criminal activity. But this is awareness that the state is engaging in malicious activity, and so this is the ongoing effort and abject fail at appearing as though they're doing something else when they are monitoring you. It's not a coincidence that the behavioral conduct, that the behavioral pattern coexists with my movement, with my presence, and it is the ongoing pattern for P.O.C. This is a license plate sitting in the street with the hazards on as I begin to cross the street. That's 7 Frank Henry Larry 385. All right, acting with the patrolling traffic, acting with those sitting at Andy's Burgers. Understand you're talking about monitoring with communication devices, and so they are span across, covering every corner of my all around me. That's called relevant positioning, and adding to activity where you are monitoring with communication devices. That's how you monitor. It's 4:52 p.m. And if you hear that, starting the ignition, closing a car door, that's what I have referred to as the soundtrack. It's ongoing noise as I travel. And this is that which also occurs. This is the manner in which third parties keep activity going as you're in motion. I also want to note P.O.C. while inside of the car, as I've already documented the state engaging and flying literally over any vehicle actually that I'm inside of. Like I documented in September, inside of a San Bernardino County vehicle with those third parties, and the state hovering over Euclid Avenue, flying directly over low elevation in an airplane. Today, the same stalking conduct, state directing impossible light activity inside of the car as third parties are driving past in traffic. That's monitoring. 8 Frank Henry Wendy 436. That's monitoring. The state directing that same impossible light activity onto the ground, onto walls and surfaces all around, and directing it also inside of the car. At the same time that vehicles are crossing paths and sitting next to you in traffic. That's monitoring. Systematic monitoring. It is 4:53 p.m. and that is inside of Tracy Banks's car while she's driving me all around today. That's P.O.C. All right. This is B Street that I'm walking on right now. B Street coming from Plum, and that is the pattern of conduct. Okay, some relevant information. It is 5:49 p.m. currently, and this is it's the same day, December 20, 2020, my ongoing podcast. What you will need to do is, again, I am documenting in more than one form. This is audio documentation. I am engaged in ongoing pictures and video, which are time-stamped, but you don't see those timestamps when I'm publishing them online. But they are also to be published onto YouTube, which will be placed in chronological order. But it gives you the visual as a companion to what you are listening to. And with regard to right now, I have just captured another large amount of video, Facebook Live video as well. And so between this timestamp, like the past 30 minutes, there are Facebook Live videos that are captured in between my audio documentation. And so I just want to be clear on that. Not only are you going to make sure you reference comment sections where I place links, where I place documentation, I also engage in creating Facebook Live videos, which are also real-time documentation of the same POC, okay? And at Ontario Town Square, I'm catching the Facebook Live video of the state that's flying repeatedly over me by helicopter and flying around continuously in planes, flying directly over my head, and the state literally hiding around in corners, sounding their sirens with simultaneity to my operation of the communication device. It's 5:50. And I just captured a live video right now at 5:49 of the helicopter flying over, and it is flying over again, directly over me at 5:50, okay? And what's in front of me, the security cameras show third-party group stalkers all around in relevant positioning. That is federal group stalking and monitoring. While the helicopter is to my right, as I sit on the bench, there's a plane directly in front of me. And as you heard on my Facebook Live video, you'll hear the sirens that are sounding close to my location. So they are here monitoring with these third-party. This is how the state is present. Understand, they are in the feet, standing in the feet of the government. And this is how the state monitors with communication devices, okay? Their presence coexisting with a state that is directly stalking by plane, helicopter, police, siren, fire. They're using their emergency vehicles. That is federal group stalking and monitoring, and that is what they're doing. And this is also demonic activity, okay? While they are entirely focused on you, be clear, a demon doesn't have to look or talk to you or address you. I don't have to know them personally. They are stalking on behalf of the public entity, the state of California, that is monitoring you. That's what they're doing. And that is how the law will treat them, okay? That is how they shall be prosecuted as well. There is no outward conduct or activity that is in any way hindering federal group stalking and monitoring. And they are present while the state is blatantly stalking, okay? That is the POC. It is 5:52 p.m. And yes, that is the pattern of conduct as I documented it all day, as I have been documenting for over 2 years now. Erica Lorraine Spencer, and just pay attention to my podcast, which is to be published. By the time you're listening to this, it will have already been published, obviously. But also you want to pay attention to my real-time documentation in the form of Facebook Live videos, okay, which I just captured numerous. I also captured video that I posted on Twitter today, December 20, 2020, of a state flying over at a higher elevation in a plane, but was also amplified. So it's flying up higher so as to avoid being captured on video, because I literally caught 3 planes flying repeatedly. And that, by the way, is called pacing. They're doing it in a plane. Open your mind and understand what they're doing with regard to the demonic activity. They're literally pacing repeatedly, flying over me in airplanes. And then after I mention this in airplanes, the helicopter begins pacing around, flying in circles, demonic, and monitoring, and flying back and forth on both of my sides, pacing, and a helicopter on my sides, and airplanes in front of me, sirens sounding all around me. It sounds like war that is occurring, but this is that which a public entity is engaging toward an American citizen. And this is the pattern of conduct routinely documented, okay? That is, the time is 5:53 p.m. And so I just want to point that out to you. This is the POC, and documentation is ongoing. That's the state sirens, and that's the helicopter hovering above me. It's 6 p.m. This psychopath, that is the state of California, it is an entity. Okay, so this is a group of people that merely work for the government, understand? Psychopath. Literally sitting around just sounding sirens repeatedly. Stalking, okay, and monitoring is the significance legally for what they're doing with their vehicles, which shall be addressed with federal legislation, okay? But anyway, it's stalking and monitoring, sounding the sirens repeatedly, and the helicopters just flying in a circle above my head, okay? Psychopath, stalker, monitoring. That's POC at 6:01 p.m. Just monitoring what I'm doing on Facebook, and I'm sharing all my Facebook Live videos. I'm moving it across my Facebook page and my Facebook profile and on Twitter. And that's what I mean by psychopath. I'm not being hyperbolic at all. That is a psychopath. And that's also how you know they start and stop their sirens while they're listening to me document. I mean, in need of serious mental assessment. Psychopath. 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 Whew. That's why I gave you that bonus on police conduct, because they are the criminals and they are the psychopaths and they are the demonically possessed individuals that are engaged in this criminal. That is a satanic monitoring system. That is exactly what they are, and that's what the documentation establishes. That's more sirens, by the way, okay? 6:02 p.m. They're not doing anything but monitoring. Nothing but monitoring and stalking. That's it. Just very sad. But it's important because it needs to be exposed. Sirens starting right next to it. And sirens continuing and stopping and continuing and stopping and continuing and stopping. This is POC while group stalkers are patrolling around on the venue. It's POC. AMR again. And to think they work for the medical, and they need, Anyway, it's 6:03. That is POC, group stalkers in the path, not a coincidence, okay? That's how they monitor you. Helicopter flying about on top, right above me. That's how you know what they're doing. They're monitoring. It's pathetic. This is federal group stalking and monitoring. They're on the surveillance cameras at the venue as well. POC. And so, while I have stated all the facts are related, nothing is going to be isolated in a vacuum or separated. This is the exact same criminal conduct while the state was directly in alignment to Stater Brothers, the venue that I was en route to, which the state knows because it's a stalker and it's monitoring me, while it was positioned directly at the venue where I sleep, which the state knows because it's a stalker and it's monitoring me, while they are outwardly engaged in what appears to be focus on something else, which was a DUI checkpoint and a car accident. Okay, while the exact same conduct was underway, okay? It's federal group stalking and monitoring and criminal facilitation of that criminal conduct with the people of the state of California. That's POC, just like I stated on that day, and the POC has not changed, and that's exactly what they're doing now. That's exactly what they were doing on those dates that I documented it, and that's exactly what I was spelling out as it was occurring in real time, okay? There is no outward form, and this is the state blatantly literally just sitting around sounding sirens repeatedly. Since 5:40 when I started my Facebook Live videos, when I started sharing it, sounding sirens and stopping, sounding sirens and stopping, sirens starting right next to me. They're literally on the opposite side of the street sounding sirens with simultaneity to my activity, okay? That is not only a psychopath stalker, that is criminal monitoring with communication devices, while third parties in the path, that is stalking vicariously on behalf of, this is literally the state walking their dog in your path, and this is how the state is monitoring you while it is surrounding you with helicopters and planes and sirens. That's what federal group stalking and monitoring is at 6:05 p.m. And that was AMR, lights and sirens on the vehicles, crossing path. That's visually, okay? They engage in sharing the the criminal task of sounding sirens. You've got one that'll cross path, you've got another one that'll drive past with just lights on, and another one that's close by just sounding sirens. You've got one that'll drive by with lights and sirens, and another one that's this loitering in relevant position with no lights and no sirens on. They're stalkers. That's the state. While it's also hovering above in helicopters. This is the state engaging in federal group stalking and monitoring, and the ongoing stalking presence on its behalf, vicariously present, monitoring with their communication devices, are the people of the state of California. All right, it is 6:06 p.m. and the POC continues. And so I did share my Facebook Live videos onto Twitter and onto my Facebook profile and my Facebook page. And my podcast for today is yet to be published. I will publish that. Obviously, it's still in process. I'm literally making it right now while they're continuing. These are third-party group stalkers crossing paths directly next to me. If they are crossing paths at other areas too, the bouncing basketball, all of this is a means of activity. Traffic is a means of activity. And that is the P.O.C. state repeatedly flying over, P.O.C, repeatedly, and that is the sound of noise coming from behind, P.O.C, and they are patrolling around, P.O.C. State flying over again, and another airplane, P.O.C, monitoring what I'm doing on my phone. POC. With audible activity and relevant positioning. They're monitoring. POC.
I don't know, because I used to get Aubrey and his stuff. Oh, that's what yeah.
She only charges 35 for you. She's not going to charge much.
No, I didn't. She said when I don't know.
Amplification of activity as I move around. That is another time monitoring what I'm doing on my phone. POC.
crossing path right in front of me. That's crossing path. Amplified activity. That's elements 2 and 3. Okay. Light is constant. P.O.C. Same thing as plane. Amplified audible activity. Same thing. P.O.C. Federal Group Stalking and Monitoring. P.O.C. It's called amplified audible activity. It's turning up the volume of third-party activity while they surround.
It is 6:51 p.m. You have ongoing presence, acting in concert with the state's creation of ongoing activity, amplification of audible activity, the deliberate amplification of activity, and the ongoing stalking by the state by aircraft. It is 6:51 p.m. That is the P.O.C. Everything that you're listening to is the ongoing in sync creation of activity, keeping the target individuals surrounded with ongoing activity. Audible activity is what they're focused on. Visible activity as they both cross path and as they are engaging in elements 2 and 3. So that's crossing path, that's relevant positioning. This is stalking, being the path on behalf of that government that's monitoring you, and also creating activity. All they have to do is be present, and this is acting in concert with the government that is operating that system. It's 6:52 p.m., and that is the P.O.C. at third-party facilitating venue, Ontario Town Square.